All right, I want to talk about something that's pretty important here. I want to show you the relationship between the sixth trumpet and the seventh trumpet, and compare that to the relationship between the sixth vial and the seventh vial, because they're very close together. The sixth trumpet and the seventh trumpet are very close together. The sixth vial of wrath and the seventh vial of wrath are very close together. Let me show you what I mean. Here we have Christ on the cross, and then we have the timeline until the end of times. And then we have the church age beginning here. But in the church age, we'll have the 7-year tribulation, the resurrection rapture, and then we'll have the wrath of God poured out on the earth, and then we come back with Christ at Armageddon. We're going to talk about these 2 points right here. The end of the 7-year tribulation, right? And the end of the wrath. The end of the wrath. Okay, we're going to talk about those 2 things. This is the church age that continues on until the resurrection rapture. But right in that 7-year period, we have the trumpets, and over here in the wrath, we have the vials of wrath. We have 7 trumpets here. We have 7 vials of wrath here. Okay, this is the seals right here. First 4 seals, 1, 2, 3. First 4 seals are kind of building up into this point where the Antichrist takes over. And then the 5th seal happens somewhere in here, because the 5th seal is the persecution of the saints. The 6th seal is the wrath of God. And the 7th seal tells the whole story all over again, but in vast details. When you get to the 7th seal, it tells us what happens with the trumpets in this period. Alright? Chapter 6 doesn't tell us about the trumpets. We have to learn about the trumpets and learn about the vials of wrath in the opening of the 7th seal. So, anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. What I want to talk to you today is the relationship between the 7th trumpet and the 6th trumpet, and over here is the 7th vial of wrath, which is the finish. Both of these are finished. Both of these have thunder, lightning, voices, an earthquake, and an announcement that says it is done or it is finished. That's all it is. All the heavy stuff happens in the 6s, like the 6 seals. Here's the 6th seal. The wrath is the worst part of everything. We're going through some suffering in the tribulation, but not that. All right, the 6s. The 6th trumpet is the hard stuff. The 6th vial is the hard stuff. Just like we got the first 4 horses riding here until we get to the Antichrist taking over. Somewhere in here is the persecution of the saints in the 5th seal. During this time, the trumpets will play. It hasn't been told yet, but that's when the trumpets play. The bowls of wrath are over here. Okay, so what we got here is the 6th seal is the hard stuff. The 6th trumpet is the hard stuff, and the 6th vial of wrath is the hard stuff. Okay, so what we got here is this is a war that takes place. So right here we have a war that takes place towards the end. Don't really know how long it is, but it's the worst thing that happens on the earth ever in history. 1/3 of man dies. 1/3 of the population of the whole earth dies right there. And then shortly after that, we have the 7th trumpet, the 7th trumpet, and the resurrection rapture. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the 6th trumpet and the 7th trumpet are very close together. Just like the 6th vial of wrath, guess what that is? That's another war at the end. And it's right at the end, because that's when Christ is coming down, actually. That's how close to the end it is. That's how close this war is to the resurrection rapture. When 1/3 of mankind is being killed, guess what's happening? Revelation 14 talks about the reapers coming into the earth. Right? 1 shall be taken, 1 left behind. 1/3 of mankind is going to die in that war. 25% of the earth dies because of them. That equals 50%. So what we have is the 6s are the hardcore, heavy-hitting stuff. The 6s happen, and then the end is right there. So you could say that the 6s are the end. Just like as what we're saying here is that the 6th seal is the end. Here's the 6th seal over here. The 6th seal. First 4 seals of the horses. 5th seal is the killing of all the Christians. 6th seal is the wrath of the Lamb coming down. Wrath of the Lamb coming down. And a war that's fighting against the men of the earth. Okay? So the 6th seal is the hard stuff, the 6 trumpets the hard stuff, the 6 vials the hard stuff, and shortly after that it's over, because the 6s, it's over at the 6s. Man is over. The number of man is over. And so we have the, right after the end, you got the 7 means it's been completed. 7 is, it's completed, it's just going to tell you the story of it. The 7th seal isn't a continuation of time, it's already been completed. The 7th seal, it says it's over. Let me tell you more about what happens in this part right here. Because it is over at the 6th, now he can give you fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks about the tribulation, fill in the blanks about the trumpets, fill in the blanks about the Antichrist that happens, the Antichrist that happens in this period, the mark of the beast, the image of the beast, right? The scorpions sting those not sealed by God. All that happens in the trumpets, the war that takes place, right? Starvation, increases, all that happens right here. Now, the persecution of the saints, the killing of the saints, we're going to read about that in seal 7. Seal 7 over there. All right, because the 6s are complete, really the fullness of it all. 7 is the completion. The 6s are the measurement of the wrath and of the judgments and of the things that are taking place. The 7 says it has been done. It's final. And that's how you look at it. Okay, so let me conclude this real quick. What we have here is an understanding on how the seals are folding out in the number 6, and the hardest part is in the sixth seal over here. As we see the trumpets as well, first 4 trumpets are basically the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trumpets are like the 4 horses. We'll talk about this in another video, because they happen almost simultaneously. These horses are happening simultaneously. They're going to be complete at the same time. The first 4 trumpets is some kind of natural disaster. It happens almost within the same day, in my opinion. And then you get the 5th trumpet, which is, the 5th trumpet is the tormenting of those not sealed by God. What is the 5th seal? The tormenting of the Christians. Right? Similar. It's very similar. The 6 and the 7. The 6 is the heavy-hitting trumpet of the war. The 6th vial is a war, 2 different wars. One is a war between man and man. Another one is a war between God coming down. And that's why, you know, the 7th vial of wrath isn't really some extra time. It's not a lot of time there, because Christ is already going to be, this is Christ coming back at this war. This is Armageddon, when Christ comes back on a horse. Where do we read about that? At the end, Revelation 19. Right? So we have Revelation 8 to 19 tells us the long version of the story. This is a story that's completely told in Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6 tells it in a very vague way. It's just a very simplistic 1 chapter. Talks about 6 seals. It includes the time of the tribulation and the wrath in chapter 6. Revelation 8 through 19 talks about the same period, but it gives you a lot of details. There's stuff that just gives you all kinds of information. The war between Michael and his angels and the dragon and his angels, right? And people being protected, the 2 witnesses, the mark of the beast. This part of the story is the same as this part as far as time goes. But this part gives you tons of details. So back to this video. What's important about this video is that the 6s are important with intensity. The 7 means there's nothing left. It's been done. There's nothing left. It's been done. In other words, seal 7, there's nothing left. It's been done. So what you're going to read about is not extra in time development. It's just details that were left out. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. I hope that helps you. Little by little, we're going to start understanding this book more. There's a blessing in the book of Revelation. So I hope that you like this stuff and you're growing and you're blessed. Get that blessing in the book of Revelation. All right, so thank you for your support, your prayers, and thank you for your donations. They help make all this possible. God bless you. Peace.